All right, so a whole new era of AI rules is officially here. But for basically everyone, it brings up this huge question, right? How in the world do you take this super dense legal document and actually turn it into something you can do every day? Well, that's exactly the puzzle we're going to piece together right now.
I mean, let's face it. AI is everywhere. It's changing everything. But with all that incredible power, you've got to ask, who's in charge? Who's making sure these things are safe and fair and, actually accountable to people?
Well, over in Europe, they've just answered that question, and the answer is the law. We're talking about a massive shift here. AI governance isn't about writing up some nice ethics statements anymore. Nope. It's about real, binding, legal rules.
Okay, so first up, let's take a look at this new legal rulebook. We're talking about the EU AI Act. This thing is a huge deal, and it really sets the stage for everything we're going to talk about.
And let's be super clear, this is not a suggestion. It's a formal regulation. It lays down a single set of rules for the entire life cycle of an AI system in the EU. So if you're developing AI, selling it, or even just using it in Europe, yeah, this law is for you.
But here's the clever part. The Act isn't some one-size-fits-all hammer. It's actually pretty smart. It uses what's called a risk-based approach. You can see the breakdown here. AI systems get sorted into different categories, from minimal risk, which, by the way, is most AI, all the way up to prohibited, which is just banned. The big idea is super simple. The higher the risk to people, the tougher the rules.
So the law tells you what you have to do. But how do you actually do it? How do you build a system to follow all these rules? Well, that's where the blueprint comes in, ISO 42001.
So this is ISO/IEC 4021, and it's a big deal. It's the world's first ever standard for an AI management system. The easiest way to think about it is like this. It's the instruction manual. It gives you a structured, internationally recognized way to build, run, and keep improving how you manage AI.
Okay, so this is the most important part, how these two things fit together. The EU AI Act tells you what you need to do. Those are the legal rules, you have to follow them. ISO 4200, on the other hand, shows you how to do it. It's the management system that lets you govern, implement, and crucially, prove you're following the rules. So one's the rulebook, the other's the game plan.
All right, let's dig into that connection between the law and the plan. Because, and this is key, these two things weren't just created separately. They were designed from the ground up to work together, to build a bridge from that dense legal text to what you actually do day to day.
So what does that bridge actually look like? I mean, how do you really know that if you follow the standard, you're actually satisfying the law?
The answer is right here. It's this document called a crosswalk, and it is brilliant. Take a look. On one side, you've got the specific legal articles from the EU AI Act, the legal requirements like human oversight or risk management. And on the other side, you've got the practical management clauses from the ISO standard. This crosswalk is the magic translator. It literally maps every single rule in the law to a specific, concrete action in your management plan. It's the key that makes the whole thing work.
Let's just zoom in for a second. See on the left, ISO clauses about things like leadership commitment and having an AI policy? Well, they map directly over to the AI Act's legal rules on human oversight and accountability. And now look at the one on the right. Practical stuff, like doing an AI risk assessment from the standard, connects right to the law's demands for risk management and protecting fundamental rights. See? It's this super detailed line-by-line mapping that makes the whole system so powerful.
Okay, so we've got the rules and we've got the plan. Now let's see what this looks like in the real world. What does a compliant AI lifecycle actually look like in practice?
This diagram right here shows the whole thing in action. And the first thing to notice is that it's a circle. This isn't a one-and-done checklist. It's a continuous cycle. Let's walk through it. You start by taking an inventory of all your AI systems and figuring out their risk level. Then, you establish who's in charge. That's leadership and oversight. Next comes the heavy lifting, assessing risks and impacts, and putting your controls in place. But look, it doesn't stop there. You're constantly monitoring what's going on, and then you use what you learn to make improvements. It's a living, breathing system that's always getting better.
So you might be thinking, okay, where do we even start? Well, it breaks down into a pretty clear roadmap. You kick things off with phase 0, just figuring out the scope of what you're dealing with. From there, you move step by step through setting up leadership, doing the risk assessments, putting controls in place, all the way to that continuous monitoring and getting ready for anything. It's a way to take this gigantic legal challenge and chop it up into manageable, actionable pieces.
And doing all this isn't just about ticking boxes to avoid getting fined. There's a much, much bigger reason to do this, and it all boils down to two words: trust and safety.
This quote really just says it all. AI governance is no longer a matter of ethics statements or voluntary best practices. It is now a regulated management obligation. That one sentence captures the entire shift we're talking about. This isn't a nice-to-have anymore. It's a core part of doing business with very real consequences.
And the payoffs for taking this structured approach? They're huge. From a legal standpoint, you have solid proof that you're doing the right thing. It makes you much more defensible and might even lower penalties if something goes wrong. But honestly, forget the law for a second. The biggest win here is trust. Real trust with your customers, your partners, and the regulators. It means when questions come up, you can answer them quickly and with total confidence.
So, here we are. For the very first time, we don't just have the rules, we have a practical, actionable blueprint to follow. The conversation is totally shifted from if we should govern AI to how we do it, which leaves us with one big final question. With all this in place, are we finally ready to build AI we can truly trust?